knowing that it's going to be 162 and knowing that it starts tomorrow, it's a good feeling. It's hard to beat opening day. It's Opening day has always been one of the highest points of the year for sports for me and for a lot of people in Wisconsin. We've had years in the past where we know the Brewers aren't going to be good, but still are excited for opening day. We usually grill out opening day at our local tavern, and we all get together, and it's usually a good time. Um, this year, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to watch it unless I cave in and get AT&T streaming service or find some other way that's probably illegal to stream the game. I don't get cable at my house in rural Wisconsin, so YouTube TV and Hulu were my ways of watching the games, including the Bucks games. So I've been relying a lot of for the Bucks at least, a lot of box score watching, a lot of highlights, a lot of TNT and ESPN, NBA TV. But Memphis and Wisconsin is still not watchable with my Hulu account, my YouTube account. So hopefully Sinclair and the new Bally Sports and the Milwaukee Brewers and Bucks can get something resolved here soon to help some of the fans out watching this. I know I'm not the only one. I think it's pretty well known if you surf Twitter that a lot of people don't want to get the cable box. They want to be able to stream their games, which I think is totally reasonable. But until they figure that out, I guess might have to cave in and buy AT&T tonight. Cancel my other subscriptions. Let's talk some Brewers. Like I said, opening day is tomorrow, which I can't believe. Brandon Woodruff's making his start. It's the first guy to start back-to-back games for the Brewers, opening day games for the Brewers since Gallardo. Gallardo did it from 2010, 2014, I believe. So he did it 4 years straight. Then we went 5, 6 years without having a back-to-back opening day starter, which is kind of amazing. But Woody's here for a while now, so I don't anticipate that changing. I mean, he could break Gallardo's 4 year stretch. So that's good to know. Just the roster in general, I guess. Um, I found a projected lineup for tomorrow at MLB.com, which I'm probably down with. I had to start leading off Colton Wong, then Lorenzo, Yelich, Kira, JBJ in right field, Narvaez, Shaw, Urias, and Woody. They're facing Kenta Maeda, which he's smoked the Brewers in the past. So I'm not really surprised that we're kind of loading up on the lefties, having Garcia on the bench opening days. It is what it is, but you gotta get a left-hander in there, I believe, to make this lineup a little better. Same with Omar, he's a switch hitter, so it's nice to have him there. Shaw is a guy you might see a lot more of this year than people think. I personally think he's gonna be the guy who is the difference maker this year in this lineup. Um, he's the kind of guy who can literally flip this lineup upside down and totally change it from being competitive to being like last year where it was kind of a dud offense. Travis Shaw, he's the kind of guy who can bat anywhere from 220 all the way to 260. Big lefty power. He can give you 20 to 30 home runs if given the amount of bats. And if he's clicking like he did previous season before the Brewers released him or got rid of him, he was raking. I mean, he's a stick him in the 4 or 5 spot. It'd be nice to have him around that area instead of at the back of the lineup, just for his power reasons. It'd be interesting later in the year if you stacked. It's crazy to think, but if you stacked like a Yelich, Vogelbach, and Shaw in a random game in the middle of the lineup, that's a lot of power, especially from the left side there. Um, yeah, so Woody's making his start again against Maeda. Jackie Bradley Jr., like we were talking about, he's gonna be batting, probably gonna be batting fifth if he's in the lineup tomorrow. Which from this projection, it makes total sense. Like because like I said, Kenta Maeda is most on right-handed batters, and Garcia I don't think be a logical choice unless they sit Kane tomorrow. I don't see that happening. Council's pretty loyal to his veterans, especially guys who've been here for a while, like Kane. But I mean, they could sit Kane if his hamstrings flaring up or anything like that, or if it feels just a little discomfort. They can start Jackie Bradley in center and still start Garcia in right, I guess. And probably see Jackie slide up to that 2 spot. Then Garcia back in the 5 or 6 hole if they roll with that lineup. Let's talk about the roster in general. I was kind of surprised they kept Vogelbach on the lineup. I don't know if it's going to last for a long time. I just don't see a lot of at bats really for him. It's going to be hard to sit Keston, and you're not going to sit Wong. So you could bring Vogelbach in later in the game, but why would you? You're not going to take out Wong and Hira for a pinch hit at bat, unless you could double switch it. But it's still it. I just don't think it makes sense to have Vogelbach on this roster right now. We're keeping 14 bats and 12 pitchers currently. Next week or 2 weeks from now, that could totally change. That could be 14 pitchers and 12 batters. I mean, you have a guy like Shaw who can play third, second base, and first base. His versatility is there, especially. I mean, you have Robertson coming back too, so I don't know. I could definitely see Vogelbach or Robertson off the 26 man here the next couple weeks. They're bringing in another pitcher. I think it's just too many infielders personally. I mean, you're looking at Narvaez, Pena. Obviously, you keep 2 catchers. We got Hira, Vogelbach, Wong, Urias, Arcia. Then you got Shaw and Robertson. But like I said, you have a guy like Shaw who can play third, second, and first. Vogelbach can only play first base. I'm gonna get Robertson can play in the outfield, but if you have a guy like Garcia and Jackie Bradley and Kane who are all going to rotate, I mean, Yelich, he's going to be an everyday starter, so he's a lock and left. We have 3 other guys and possibly Bobby McKinney, who they really like too, who can play in the outfield and also play first base. He has in the past. I just don't see him long term here, I guess, Vogelbach. I like him. I like his at bat. He brings a lot of power. I mean, he hits dongs. Last season, he was hitting left field, which is kind of odd. He's known for being a dead pull hitter, so him kind of springing around later on last year was kind of interesting to see. If he can do that, he might find his way to more at bats, but it's tough to do when you have Hira and Wong on the right side with him. Especially, he's kind of the same player as Shaw too, just opposite side of the diamond. So you have a guy like Shaw and Vogelbach, 2 left-handed hitters, 2 thumpers who are low average guys. I think something eventually is going to have to give for those guys, but I could be wrong. Brewers projections for the season, I think like Pacoda and a couple other ones have the Brewers around 84, 85 wins. I think they have them winning the division. I'm kind of on board with that too. I had the Brewers winning the division and probably winning 91, 92 games. I think the winner's going to be low win total again this year. And I don't think we're going to have as many playoff contenders as last year. I mean, obviously, we had 4 teams make the playoffs. It was an expanded wild card. Brewers made a losing record, but at the same time, which take that banner off the field. We don't need an NLs. We don't need a NL wild card participation banner in Miller Park when we had a losing record that season too in a shortened season. I mean, I don't know. I don't agree with those, but that's just me. But I see the Brewers winning 91, 92 games and taking the division this year. The Cardinals made some moves like for Arenado, but overall their team isn't that strong. Their pitching is what it is. Their bullpen isn't going to help them out too much, or they don't have much depth in their infield or outfield. It's especially, I think a team like the Cubs are going to surprise a lot of people this year. A lot of people are down on the Cubs just because they've been underperforming the last couple of years, but I think this team's better than what people give them credit for. Especially when you have guys like Rizzo and Bryant and Javi, they're playing for their next contract essentially, or possibly their next team. If the Cubs don't resign them, so I mean, that's a lot of motivation for guys like that to pick it up, especially when they have proven track records to be all-stars in this league. I mean, you have guys like Bryant and Rizzo and Javi in your lineup. I mean, you can win any game any day. I don't like the Cubs, and I'm not trying to praise those three, but those three are pretty solid threesome in a lineup. Yeah, so that's kind of it for the Brewers today. Talk some Bucks. Bucks road trip against the Clippers wasn't too great. I didn't see the game. I saw some stats afterwards, and saw we got out rebounded badly, 32-46. Give up 13 offensive rebounds to the Clips. That's quite a bit. Points in the paint, 10 difference. They have 10 more. But some of this, I'm not here to bash Middleton. I'm not going to bash Middleton. But he's still the highest paid player on the team, and he does this a lot where he disappears. I mean, he's consistent, don't get me wrong, but he disappears some games. And maybe that's just because I'm used to people just complaining about him on Twitter, or maybe I'm just riding into it now. But 36 minutes and 15 points, 3 boards, 3 assists. He didn't, for leading the team in minutes, he didn't do much at all on the court by the looks of it. Holiday is starting to get his groove. That's good to see, especially come April here. Starting to make a push to the playoffs, and with Holiday performing like he is, I think that's going to be a huge addition come playoff time. And if we run to the Nets, I think we kind of match up pretty well with the Nets right now, defensively and offensively. It's going to be fun to see Jeff Teague and how he kind of fits in this team. You have guys the other night like Pat Connaughton, he played 31 minutes. Thanasis 19, Forbes 18. You're going to probably see Connaughton's minutes cut in half with Teague here. Forbes, he's going to be a situational guy, kind of like Corver was last year. He's coming off the bench, and you're setting up plays for him to get quick shots off and try to get the team rolling. You probably won't see him as much if Teague is performing. Yeah, so we got the Lakers tonight. Davis and LeBron are still out. Anthony Drummond's making his debut for the Lakers. He'll probably drop 35 points and 20 boards just because that's what these buyout guys do. They don't want to play for their teams, so they suck on purpose, or they just don't play. Interesting article that came out the other day. I don't know if anyone else saw this, but it was about a report came out. Some NBA agents threaten small market teams if they don't buy the players out, saying they won't bring other players in. People have always had conspiracy theories about that. I always thought it was kind of true. When I heard about this, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Quote, it's very, very hard for the small markets or mid markets to say we're not going to buy you out, said one small market GM, because you can't get players there anyway. If you don't do them favors, an agent will say, I'm not going to bring you my guys. Like, really? I mean, there's not many agents who have a lot of the top end players in this league. I mean, there's only a certain amount of agents really who have these guys. And when you have agents pretty much threatening, and their clients who are the players threatening these teams, small market teams, saying I'm not gonna tell my friend or other NBA players to come here, or just it's not a good look for the league. I mean, it's already a large market league. I mean, you can tell what's happening with like these buyouts. All these players go to these super teams on the East and West Coast. Small market Midwestern teams, they can't keep up. I mean, if we didn't draft Giannis, a generational player, there's no way that we'd be where we are right now. I mean, we might have Chris Middleton, but we want to get Drew Holiday here. We'd probably have a guy like Brook Lopez just because he's not a star. But then you're just throwing pieces together like we always have in the past. I mean, we'd probably be a 6 to 8 seed, and that's probably it. That's why I was kind of surprised Giannis resigned here, just because of the market thing. I understand he's a different type of player than most guys, mentally and emotionally. So he's kind of born and raised in Milwaukee, which he respects and which he holds on to, which is, thank God, or else I don't know where we'd be without him for the next 4 or 5 years. So yeah, that report kind of bugged me. Hopefully the NBA looks into it, which they probably won't. Just like all the tampering bullshit that goes on. Yeah, unless a small market team like the Bucks do a little bit of tampering, which is very minimal, even if any at all. Can't get guys, but LeBron can recruit whenever he wants to. This whole Andre Drummond thing is kind of weird too. But yeah, I don't know. Bucks are on a 6-game road trip. They lost the first game at 5 left. I got them going 4-2 on the road trip. I see them losing to the Blazers. Then they're going to knock off the other teams they play, I think, and then get back to Milwaukee and hopefully do some more damage and keep climbing, get that 1 seed. Packer talk today. NFL's moving to 17 regular season games. The Packers 17th game added was against the Chiefs. I thought that was pretty interesting. A lot of people want that to be week 7 or game 17. I don't agree with that. I don't want to play the Chiefs going into the playoffs, potentially going into the playoffs. I'd rather have that game. I don't even know. Make it a holiday game, Christmas time game. Make it a Thanksgiving game. It doesn't matter. I'd like to see both those offenses being played in September, October, even November-ish, when the field conditions are still okay. It'd be fun to watch both those offenses just light it up in decent conditions. So that'll be fun to watch. Mahomes versus Rodgers. Rodgers is hosting Jeopardy for 2 weeks. For all you Jeopardy nerds out there, I'm not one. I might watch just to watch Rodgers, I guess, for an episode, but I'm not a Jeopardy guy. Kind of an interesting nugget today with Seattle. They extended Tyler Lockett 4 years, $69 million extension. Nice, huh? I don't know if that's good for the Packers. So now you're looking at Adams' contract extension coming up. He's going to demand top money. I mean, I think he said it a couple times, or kind of referred to it a couple times now. He wants to get paid. And he's said it multiple times. I'm the best receiver in the league. It was self-proclaimed guy saying I'm the best receiver in the league. He wants the most money in the league too at that position, obviously. So you're looking at nothing less than $20 million a year if we signed him like now. If we hold off, there's going to be other contracts coming in that are going to be higher than Lockett's and keep pushing Adams' number up. So that number is starting to get kind of crazy now. When you start thinking about it, and then you have Jair and Alexander after the season too. You got to start looking at contract extensions. It's going to be interesting and tight. It's tough with this team. Rodgers eats up a chunk of that salary cap, and for them to make moves, or for them to keep their guys they want to keep, it's tricky. This kind of philosophy, paying this kind of guy like Rodgers this much money, you almost have to hit on your draft every single year. And you have to have guys contribute up and down that lineup, up and down the roster, that are rookies or 1-year players, or it's not going to be a Super Bowl winning team. Murphy declined to comment on Rodgers' extension. What's he going to say? Reporter asked him about it, and he's like, I'm not going to get into specifics with players and extensions. I mean, take it as what you want. And I got a wild rumor today. Hope he's okay with me sharing it. It's from Milwaukee T on Twitter. He sent me a message saying, Thought that I would pass this on to you. A buddy of mine works for Alabama. There are Green Bay folks in town last week and back again today. The thought down there is that a trade of a San Francisco pick number 3 to Green Bay for Rodgers is possibly in the works. I don't know where I heard this from. Then it also said other items will be tossed in, but found this interesting and wanted to send it to you. Rodgers has been linked to the Niners for the past 3-4 years. They've expressed, I don't know, externally, but possibly internally, that they are interested in Rodgers. I don't know. The 3rd overall pick and multiple other picks later on, possibly a player to contribute this year. George Kittle, I don't know. For Rodgers, is it out of the realm of possibility? I wouldn't be totally shocked. Goody and LaFleur, they got their quarterback of the future. They drafted Love for a reason. They spent a 1st-round pick. They traded up for him. They did their scouting. They did their research. He's their guy, I think. When he's their guy, it's still up in the air. Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year? Is it going to be the following year? I don't know. Rodgers, we have a contract for 3 more years. But you didn't draft Jordan Love to sit on the bench for 3-4 more years. I don't believe. And part of me thinks with all these extensions coming up, possibly that the Packers, they don't have the space to do it. They can't do it. They signed Kenny Clark, which take it as you want. Signed Bakhtiari. They signed Aaron Jones. Those are all massive contracts for those 3 guys just right there alone. I mean, then you got to look at Adams and Jair. Those are two of those guys are going to be paid the highest, top 5 highest of their positions. Something's got to give, or else you can't fill out a roster competitive enough to do that. I mean, you have Kenny Clark, one of the highest of the position. David Bakhtiari, one of the highest of one of the positions. Aaron Jones, one of the highest paid at his position. Then if you have Adams, you already have Rodgers, and then Jair. I mean, then you're 2 years more looking at Savage. It's if you want to lock up Za'Darius, something's going to happen. It's going to be crazy, I think. I'm not going to keep speculating what it could be because I don't want to get buried in that rabbit hole. But I would not be surprised at all. I don't want it to happen, but I could just see it happen if Rodgers somehow got moved. I'm not saying this year, possibly next year. I don't know. But I just think there's so much money on the table with his contract locked into one position that if they want to keep extending these guys out, their own guys, they're going to have to cut ties with Rodgers. I think that's the only way possible, unless the salary cap just freaking skyrockets in the next couple of years. New TV deals and such, but I don't know. Well, that's all I kind of got for you guys today. I haven't done videos for much at all. I think this is only my 2nd YouTube one. But we'll see how they go. If they could get any interest from them, possibly keep doing them. They're fun. Would love the feedback. Either send me a DM on private message or on Twitter. You could comment below on the video on YouTube here. But yeah, if you'd like and share and give us a like, or that'd be great. Subscribe to be more helpful. All right, have a good day. Go Brewers.
Yeah.